All right, good morning to the couple of you who are already in here. We're going to wait a couple more minutes to get things started. All righty. Well, I guess it's just going to be a few of us for the live part this morning. Hopefully some other people show up, but the fact that at least two of you made it in here says that you were able to find the link to this, the password and all that stuff. You can use the text chat. I'm generally going to have uh, people muted. Guess I can't do that. I'm generally going to have people muted and the video muted. If I want to do something else, then I will, and I'll let you know ahead of time. But again, generally, this is just going to be me talking, and you can type questions, and I will of course respond. So there is a chat window. You are always welcome to use that. If you can't use the chat window for some reason, shoot me an email and let me know, and we'll figure something out. It's not a huge class, but I did find last semester when I was letting letting a couple students use their mics and stuff. There was a lot of feedback, a lot of background noise, a lot of distractions. So I don't really like that approach. Uh, at least not the whole time. And again, we can table that and reapproach it if we have to. But anyways, rambling aside, and there'll be a lot of rambling today. This is Math 154, Quantitative Reasoning. And that kind of sounds like a scary title for a math class. It sounds like this is going to be something awful and terrible, and like the whole semester is one big word problem or something like that. And I mean, I don't want to say it's one big word problem, but we do a lot of conceptual word problems in here because this is what I like to call math for the real world. So this is going to be a course where we're going to teach you some very basics at the beginning. But we're going to spend the first 4 chapters primarily talking about one idea, and that is proportional relationships. But we take that concept and we extend it and we extend it and we build on it and we extend it to things that could be or should be important to your lives, whether you know it or not. And then from proportions, we get into graphing linear equations and talking about how to use linear equations outside of graphing. And then we're going to get into some other topics, some things like correlation versus causation, some stuff dealing with financial literacy, which is going to be things like your mortgage, your car payment, your student loan, your retirement plan, your credit cards, all sorts of things like that. So there are a lot of topics that you can take away from this course and use in your lives, in your real world. It's not just, hey, here's the quadratic formula, and we expect you to be going on to become scientists and engineers where you'll end up using it. And you know that quadratic formula, that's negative b plus or minus square root of b squared, blah, 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 blah. It's a fascinating formula. It's extremely useful for scientists and engineers and people working with computers maybe and stuff like that. But for every American, your average American, we've kind of learned that maybe we don't necessarily need to teach that to them. We need to teach them stuff that they're going to use. So again, we're not going to deal with a lot of complicated formulas in here. A lot of the math is bare bones, but again, we extend the concepts and we do put some challenge to them. The other thing that we focus on in this course, and we're going to do a lot more discussion of it in the beginning of the semester than at the middle and the end. We're basically going to spend the first, oh geez, I haven't taught this as a summer class, probably week and a half to 2 weeks talking about Excel. So Excel is a computer program that you can create spreadsheets with. You can do all sorts of other things besides just spreadsheets, but that's the basic template, basic idea. You can make charts, graphs, you can do analysis, you can do batch processing, all sorts of amazing things, which again, you might think, well, when am I ever going to use this? There are a lot of jobs that use Excel now. So again, we're going to kind of take a slow first toe in the water approach with this after we do our big, roughly hour and a half discussion of how this course works. So we'll introduce it. We'll show you how to use some very basic formulas.
Yes.
We'll have homework assignments with Excel. We'll have homework assignments that are not Excel. We'll have a project. Whoever's got their mic on, please. I can't do that. There we go. Okay. All right. I got sidetracked. I'm easily distracted. Excel. Yeah, so we'll have some Excel homeworks. There we go. Someone had a question in chat. I'm going to show you how to get to that in a few minutes. The syllabus is in Canvas. I just wanted to have this open for a minute while I'm talking. So I'm going to show you how to find everything, how to use everything. Thank you, Benjamin. Okay, so in fact, we'll go ahead and do that. So if you log in to my TCC and you pull up our course, I'm going to have a lot more courses than you. So Quantitative Reasoning Summer 2020. And then you should only see a few things up here. And this is a whole bunch of other stuff that you'll see later, but you'll have this helpful tips to start, which I'm going to open in a few minutes. You'll have this lecture videos, which you should have already seen unless you just use the email link. And remember that the password, and I'm never going to change this, it's going to be the same every day. Math is fun, all lowercase, no numbers, no special stuff, no spaces. Some basic TCC stuff, a couple of the chapter notes, which you will want to download before classes, but we'll get into all that. So the syllabus is right under home. So if you click syllabus, and it's this file at the top, Math 154 Syllabus Summer 2020. Don't worry about these two things. We'll talk about that later. That shouldn't even be there. As you see, it's due Thursday, April 9th. This is from me copying my spring semester course. I got to figure out if I can delete that stuff. But if not, it's not a big deal. And you should click it. You should be able to open it right here. Now that spot may be somewhere else if you're using a different browser. I'm using Chrome, Firefox. It might be like in the bottom right, but hopefully you know how to use your web browser. And this should open up. Someone said that the file is corrupted. I don't know why that is. If anyone else wants to open this up and confirm that it's working for them, maybe it's a personal PC issue. If you're trying to open it on mobile, on a cell phone or a tablet, maybe that's the issue because it's a Word document. I can't really confirm because of these complications, thanks to, I am using a Chromebook. All right, so Chromebooks are a problem. Chromebooks with Excel specifically are a problem. And it's because they have like some proprietary software. Now, I know I'm talking about Excel, but Excel is a Microsoft package. So if Excel has a problem, Word might have a problem. So that's going to be my guess. Let me see if I can save it as like an RTF and get that back to you. For today, at least any of you having that problem, you'll be able to see the whole thing on the screen. And I'm going to be saving these videos and uploading them to YouTube, so you can always go back to that and just do screenshots. But please shoot me an email because I've got a super busy day and I will forget, but please shoot me an email and I'll see if I can do a file conversion to something you might be able to open. Please and thank you. All right. And this brings me to another point about this course. This is not a math course where, like, let's say this was pre-calculus. We call it pre-calculus because we're setting you up for calculus. So there are so many topics that we absolutely have to get to you no matter what in a semester, or you're going to hurt when you go into calculus because you need those things. That's not what this course is. This is not a prereq to anything. There's the statistics course after this, it's 155, but really you don't need any material from this course for that one. So the good thing is, this course is loaded with material. I could teach this course for 1.5 years, and I don't even know if I could complete the textbook. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little, maybe a year, 3 semesters, something like that. Anyways, we are not going to come close to touching all the material from this book, all the different worksheets, all the different applications, all the different homework problems. We're never going to come close to it. We get to pick and choose what we're going to do. And with this kind of weird situation where we're not in a classroom, I'm teaching virtually, but it's not technically an online class. All right, cool, awesome. I'm glad you got it to work. If you are wondering why I just sidetracked, I'm having a conversation from the chat window about the syllabus. So again, this is not a course where it's like, all right, I have to get section 8.1 done or you're out of luck in the future. This is, all right, I have so many different topics and bullet points I want to hit. I want to make sure we hit those. And then if we hit those and still have extra time, all right, we can put in some extra seasoning. We can put in some extra flavor. We can challenge ourselves a little more. So this class technically goes through chapter 10 and potentially 11. I highly doubt we'll even get to chapter 10 statistically, or I should say traditionally. I've only hit that once, and I don't expect to hit it with this format because there's going to be lots of little technical issues. Like I have to do math with a drawing tablet. So like I'll be doing math using this little digital pen that obviously you can't see. And I'm not perfect with it. I miss my old dry erase boards. So I'll have a lot of erasing and going back, and I have to switch between one thing and another thing. And then I have to rant about it to you, which also eats up time, which is kind of funny, right? Is that irony or a coincidence? So either way, we face the challenges head on. We make the best of the situation. We learn what we can. We stay positive. We stay engaged. And yeah, we keep on doing what we do because that's us. That's human nature. All right, so I showed you how to open the syllabus. Let's start going into this a little bit more because I know you're curious about some stuff. So in that email, I did send you the course ID, which it is right here. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. Beckner 77766, and I will show you how to make that account very quickly. In a little bit, we've got a lot of things to cover, as we said, and I like to kind of preempt them. So we'll be teaching live from 8:30 to 10:30 each morning. If there's ever a time where I can't make this meeting, if I am able to record it later, I absolutely will. I can't guarantee that though. If I'm sick or I have to go out of town or something like that, we could still end up with a missed class, just like we could with the traditional classroom. Last semester, we lost power at my house, I think twice, because I live in the land of pine trees in the Churchland area of Portsmouth. So if we have a windy storm, we typically lose power, and it happened, and it was fun. It made for a good laugh, and we just do what we can do. And I also know that some of you were in a nighttime class from like 6 to 8 or 7 to 9, somewhere in that ballpark. And maybe there was a reason you signed up for that night class because you're working during the day or you're taking care of your kids or helping them with their school time during the day. So I don't make the live class participation mandatory because of that. I understand that you have things going on. But you are still responsible for watching each and every lecture. So again, these will be posted to YouTube. I'll have them posted no later than 2 o'clock, and I said 5 as a backup, but really, if I can get it posted by 11 a.m., I will. I'm sorry, yeah, before my second class of the day, because I have a class right after hours. But when I finish recording, it takes like 10 minutes to process the video, and then maybe another 10 minutes for me to upload it to YouTube, and then it takes another 10 or 15 minutes for YouTube to convert it. So when I actually go and plug it into YouTube, again, that's another roughly, or let's say just when the class ends, still at least 30 minutes. And if I'm prepping for my next class, that means I can't start our process until after that. But again, if you planned on watching this from 7 to 9 or 6 to 8 in the evening or whatever, you will have that ability, or maybe you can't do it that day, catch it the next morning. But you do need to catch them quickly, because there will be quizzes occasionally with very, very short turnarounds. And again, that's to make sure that you are coming to class. And we'll talk about that more soon. Office hours, I mean, I don't really have an office. You can always email me. I'm trying to do something on, I think, either Mondays or Wednesdays. It's kind of outside this class, but I'm still ironing out the kinks. This office phone number, don't call it. I will not be in my office at all this semester, and I'm not really comfortable giving out my cell phone, but I still have to have that in the syllabus. You know what? There's probably a way I can digitally check that. No one's ever told me. I need to look into that. See, we think of things all the time. Email though, rbeckner@tcc.edu. If you somehow find my email address that has a 003 in it, please do not ever send me anything to it. I do not check that one. It's a student account. It's not a professor account. And I don't want to, I already have Canvas messages to check. I have this email to check. I have another set of things I have to check for work, for messages. So 3 is enough. I don't need to check 4. So just make sure you're messaging me here. This is where I check constantly. The Canvas inbox, I don't want to say I check it every day. It's more like an every other day thing at best. But if there's ever a time where you message me and it's something, of importance, either super important, mildly important, whatever, it's not just, something that you can wait on. If I don't get back to you within a business day, then please email me again. So, oops, I wish that would work a little nicer. Just gonna write that up there. And it won't be in the syllabus, I'm just adding it for flair. But if I don't get back to you within 1 business day, shoot me a reminder, hey, Mr. Beckner, what's the status on this? Because what might happen is I read your email on my cell phone because I'm out and about or something like that. And then I don't like responding on cell phone because autocorrect inside of my email app does not like me at all. It makes me sound, I'm going to say this funny intentionally. It makes me sound less good grammar, less good spelling. So I don't really like emailing from my cell phone. I'll read emails from it all day, but I don't like replying. So I wait till I get to a computer to reply. And sometimes I've got 50 emails and then I forget to respond to one or I miss one. So again, if I don't get back to you within a business day, just shoot me a reminder. Hey, Mr. Beckner, what's the status? You can't hear anything. Is anyone else having audio problems? Maybe check your volume levels down here on your desktop. Well, someone said no, so they can definitely hear me. I'm not sure what's going on for you, Demetrius. Again, check your audio on your computer. Check your headset. If you've got a detached headset, maybe you have a volume knob on that. I don't know, unfortunately. If you can't hear anything, though, check the YouTube later. Awesome, good, cool. All right. So, email, 1 business day. Table of contents, and you'd think these were hyperlinks because they're blue and underlined, but they're not, so that's weird. And I'm not going to read every single one of these, but it's there. Prereqs, you were supposed to have passed MTH 3 or 5, or if you were at TCC like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe it was MTE 1, 2, and 3, or even up to 5. Maybe you had a different named course, but I'm really hoping that no one is in here that hasn't passed the co-req or prereq. There are no co-reqs for this course. This MD 54, this thing starts in the fall, so don't worry about that. Textbook. So in that email that I sent out to everybody, I did say that the textbook is not even able to be purchased, I think, or maybe I said it was optional, and that's sketchy because it doesn't exist. The textbook is digital only. The actual textbook, which I'll pull up occasionally in class, is digital only. And I do want you reading from these textbooks before classes begin, and I'll say that again later. Excuse me. Now, there is still a physical paperback thing that you can buy, and that is the guided worksheets. Guided worksheets. So if you purchase the combo pack or whatever they call it from Barnes and Nobles, it comes with the Mymathlab access code, which is mandatory for everyone. You can purchase that by itself, or you can purchase it with the worksheets. And again, the guided worksheets, these are available to you, but not required. Now, I highly suggest purchasing the guided worksheets. I'm going to say this 3 times. So that was 1. I highly suggest purchasing the one with guided worksheets. I highly suggest purchasing the one with guided worksheets. The reason for this is we will work from these most days of class. There will be assignments, quote, group discussions assigned from these, from maybe every other class, maybe every class we're going to see going forward. It used to be we just sit in class and do group work together. I would talk a lot less, but we're in an interesting scenario, so I have to change the dynamics. Now, why do I say that it's optional, but I still suggest buying it? Because this is available to you digitally, and I will show you how to find this digitally. But the problem is, it might be tougher to be reading from one digital thing and then having to type the answers into Canvas on the discussion board and working on paper. It might just create too much clutter. So that's why I suggest purchasing it. I think it's only an extra $20 to purchase it. Now, if you don't have the $20, it's available digitally as a PDF or multiple PDFs, depending on how you access it. Again, I'll show you where to find them. Learning outcomes, proportions, financial reasoning, dealing with linear relationships, correlation versus causation. We kind of talked about some of this stuff, logic arguments. If we can get to chapter 10, which I already said, it'll be tough. It's really tough too. All right, description of assessments. Ooh, why is this still in here? This should not be here. This categories, this point system, ignore that completely. I need to go and edit our syllabus so that that's not in there. I use a syllabus builder and I can't edit the baseline, and I didn't realize that was still in there. So students are expected to submit assignments in Mymathlab as well as Excel assignments via Canvas. That should say Canvas. So I have 2 edits to make on a weekly basis. At least one larger Excel project will be due during the second half of the semester. Excel homework will be graded as follows. Ignore that. Excel homework is automatically graded when you submit it. And we'll talk about the auto grader a little bit later. Rough outline of where we'll be for this summer semester. So I just kind of took the fall, spring semester one and broke it down. And this is not exact. As I said, this anticipates that we actually hit through all of chapter 10, which I do not anticipate. Week 1, I really don't even know that we'll get into chapter 1. Week 1 is probably still going to be in chapter 0. There is a chapter 0, that's all the Excel stuff. So this, again, is just kind of very, very loose. Just wherever we are in the lectures, that's where we are. Don't expect the midterm to be week 5. That's probably going to be week 6, probably the last half of week 6, maybe even the first day of week 7, which we only meet twice a week. So again, don't take any of this concretely. That will change. This is here really just to tell you what sections we're going to cover. So chapter 0 is the intro to Excel. Chapter 1 is going to be a little bit more in Excel, but nothing too crazy. Chapter 2, we're going to start introducing those proportions. Chapter 3, we're going to get into an extension of proportions, a little bit of dimensional analysis, some weighted averages. Actually, I think that's still chapter 2. Doesn't matter. Chapter 4, we start dealing with percents, etc., etc. But you can see that the first 4 chapters, we pretty much cover 4 sections each. But then when we get later into the material, we start kind of picking and choosing a lot more. Chapter 5, we only do 3 sections. Chapter 6, we only do one section. We don't even do chapter 7. Chapter 8, we do 2 sections. Chapter 9, we do 4 sections. And honestly, these 4 sections, we're really going to pick and choose from them. And I'm going to kind of have a bit of a discussion, assuming we have time, that's a little more life central than approaching it as maths central. And it might sound weird, but you'll see what I mean later. I really like to stress financial literacy in this course and becoming more, I guess, financially aware, handling your finances. And then more in depth of the sections, you see a lot of omitted sections omitted. We don't do anything with statistics in here. We don't do anything with logarithms in here. So if you ever see anything just kind of out of place involving that stuff, just ignore it. Okay, so here we go. Get into the good stuff. Specific course policies. Students are expected to read ahead in the text before each class. Students are also expected to bring their guided worksheets to class every day. Now, what does that mean for us? It means have it ready digitally, have it in front of you, whatever. Obviously, I can't check this like I would in class, but please make sure you have those available because you will have some assignments from them. And this last part doesn't apply to us. I can't ask you to leave. Oh, I miss seeing everyone in person. I do. But again, we do what we have to. So grading policy, this is what you've all been waiting for. You have lots of different types of homeworks. And honestly, your grade in this class is comprised mostly of homeworks. Only 40% of your grade comes from tests. What other math class is like that? Most math classes, like 80% or more of your grade comes from tests. So this is an excellent opportunity. It's not just a lot of, oh, you have nothing in front of you, you have to remember everything absolutely. That's a test. And in an algebra class, it kind of makes sense to have 80% of your grade come from something like that. This is supposed to be math for the real world. In the real world, you've got your cell phone in front of you. You've got libraries, you've got the internet, you've got whatever. You have other people you can talk to. You can get information without having closed books, closed notes, no calculators. So that's why I like the grade distribution of this class. But what a lot of students do is they say, oh, well, the Excel is only 15%. I'm not going to do that. And now the best grades you can get is an 85 because you skipped doing something that honestly half of them aren't that bad. And if you don't make 100s on everything else, you're not even going to get a B. So by skipping one type of assignment, you're probably going to get a C. So make sure you are doing everything. This is summer. We're going to be moving quick. We only meet for 10 weeks as opposed to the 16 weeks of the fall spring. So you've got to prioritize this class. You have to prioritize this class. If you can't, if you've got other things going on, maybe reconsider taking the class, which I really don't want to tell anyone to have to do that, but I also don't want you to waste your money on a failing grade if you know that your life's too hectic to handle Mymathlab homeworks, Excel homeworks, quizzes, a couple tests, guided worksheets, a project. Because homework is every week, every class sometimes. So Mymathlab homework, this is the traditional homework, which I will, again, we'll get into the Mymathlab stuff very shortly. 1 per e-text section, which by the way, with the reading ahead, you always want to read the next section. So let's say today we covered 2.2. That means you should read 2.3 before the next class. Let's say today that we covered 5.1. That means that you should be reading 5.2 before the next class. So the reading is always supposed to be one section ahead. Look at the textbook, look at the notes I give you, which again, I'll show you where those are. But when we finish a section, whenever we finish a section, I'll say, all right, 1.1 is done. That homework is due in a week. I say complete by next class, but I'm going to give us a break for this summer semester. That should be complete by the next, let's just say complete in 7 days. So I've got a couple edits to the syllabus I need to actually have hard-coded in. So yeah, 1 per section. So out of the, let's see, we got chapter 1's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There's about 22 homeworks because I believe chapter 9 is just all one homework. I'm 99% certain that. So that would be 22 Mymathlab homeworks. So there's 22 of those that make up 15% of your grade. Excel assignments, which again, after I do all this blah, blah, blah about how the course works, that's gonna be the first thing we go into, how to use Excel, how to submit stuff, all that good stuff. So one will be posted in Mymathlab as an assignment for almost every e-tech section. Now, I'm not supposed to delete this, but this is not true. The way this course is arguably supposed to work is as stated, but instructors can choose to assign all or some or one per week, and I do about one a week. We're gonna do probably 8 to 10 Excels. So I have about 30 to 40 to choose from, and we're only gonna do 8 to 10. And in Mymathlab, you will see those. I'm gonna try and take the time to hide those this semester. I usually don't, but things are a little weirder now, so I don't want too much confusion. But right now, if you logged in Mymathlab, you'll see a whole boatload of assignments that we won't even do. So don't think that you're gonna have 30 or 40 Excel. It's only gonna be 8, 9, 10, something like that. So those are gonna be weighted 15% as well. So all of your Excel assignments, if you average those, they would be equally as important as the weight of all your Mymathlab homeworks. Then we'll have quizzes. Quizzes are generally going to be posted in Canvas, but I do reserve the right to submit to give you a quiz in another format. But again, I will generally post them in Canvas. Occasionally the quiz will be a Word file that you download and answer like 4 questions as a sentence, and you'll submit that to me, and then I actually have to read your sentences and grade them. Some of them will just be a quote Canvas style quiz where you can actually type in the answers to Canvas instead of a Word file or writing in a Word file. So the quizzes will vary. Some of them will be based on videos that are in Mymathlab. Some of them will be based on content from a lecture. Some of them might just be a, hey, were you paying attention question? I might say like, in what year was TCC first built, which was like 1968 or 69, something like that. I sadly don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm close. I know I'm close. And it was the Portsmouth campus that was first, which was technically in Suffolk, which is no longer the Portsmouth campus. So quizzes, again, 15% of your grade. Guided worksheets. So this is going to be the participation in the discussion boards. So I won't necessarily do a discussion board every class. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I will do at least one a week. That I can guarantee, at least one a week. And it might be, okay, this page has got 10 questions, so everybody try and answer one question since we've got about 10 students. If you want to answer more, if you want to answer a question and a day's gone by and then you want to answer another one and no one else has, then you can do that. That's certainly fine. I'm going to have a number of discussions that you actually need to do. Now, with the discussion boards, the answers don't have to be right. This is a participation grade. The guided worksheet discussion board, kind of amalgamation of everything together, this is participation. So I'm going to say at the end of the semester, all right, I had 40 possibilities for a student to give an answer. I need you to have done 30 of them. So if you did 30, then you've got a perfect 100. If you did 20, then a 20 out of a 30 would be like a 66. If you did one, a 1 out of 30 is like a 3.5, 3.3, which would not be a good grade. So make sure that you're doing those. I'll generally have those available for several days. I don't want to say a specific amount of days at the moment, maybe 2 days, maybe 5 days, maybe 7 days. I'd like to keep that open depending on the worksheet. Generally, I'd like it done before the next class, but if there's a more complicated one, maybe I'll give you more time. So the deadlines for this, I don't want to say concretely. If I didn't mention it earlier, Excel assignments, they'll always be announced at least a week before they're due. Excel assignments will always be announced at least 1 week before they're due, and I always try to do them 3 classes as an announcement before they're due. But I will promise at least 2 classes before they're due. You get multiple attempts on them as well, by the way, if I didn't mention that. again, we have a lot to cover. Projects. Oh, so guided worksheets, 10% of your grade. This is 10% of your grade that should be free as long as you're putting in an effort, because as I said, I'm not grading on right or wrong. I'd love it for you to be right. I hope you want to be right. But if you're wrong, that's fine. I can't tell you how many people make wrong assessments with these guided worksheets. That's the point. You know how many times I've done things wrong in my life? Doing something wrong is just the first step to doing it right later. It's called learning. And that's what we're here for. So I encourage you to do something wrong, but then to learn from it and hopefully understand why it was wrong and to be able to get it right after. Projects, minimum of 1 per semester. I will be flat out, it's going to be 1. There's no way we're doing more than 1 project in a summer semester. Suggested timeline due in the second half of the course. I already mentioned that earlier. It is most likely going to be a budget project. We'll talk about this more later though. Then we have a midterm, and that project is only worth 5% of your grade. Now, don't take that to mean, oh, I'm not going to do my project because it's only 5%. That will take you from a B to a C, or from an A to a B, or from a C to a D, or a D to an F very easily. Because if the rest of your grades average out to be a 74, and you miss your project, now you have a 69, and that's a D. And you know, a lot of teachers might say, well, 69, what's the difference between that and a 70? Why not round up? Or if it's 69.5, why not round up? And, you know, maybe I agree with those arguments to some stance. Maybe I do, because I'm all about fairness. But a student who doesn't submit assignments, I don't know that I need to extend that fairness to them. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, the student would have got a 74 if they did the project, but they got a 69 because they didn't. I don't know. That sounds like a D to me. But a student who submits everything, their average is like a 69.5, 69.6, 69.4 maybe even. Okay, maybe that's a C. So do assignments, try. That's the point of this course, effort. And a lot of time goes into this course. Finally, midterm, which like we said, about week 6, because honestly, the first 4 chapters, which is what the midterm will cover, it takes more than half a semester to cover those. I think when people were developing this course, they weren't considering chapter 0 and how long it would take to discuss, because it really does take a long time to discuss. So the midterm usually ends up being like week 6 or 7. And then the final will be our last day of class. We will not meet on the final exam day because, I mean, traditionally we just meet and I would be sitting silently while you test. So I don't feel like I should do a lecture on the day you're supposed to be taking a final. That wouldn't be fair. That's going to take twice of your time. So the midterm is 20%, the final is 20%. That's not 40% each, that's 40% total. So 20 and 20. And again, a lot of math classes, 80% of this material is tests, only 40% here. So that gives you some wiggle room. That gives you more opportunity to kick butt in all the homework where you have notes, you have multiple attempts to do things. Quizzes, I mean, I don't give super intense quizzes. The answers are always there. They shouldn't be too complicated. Half the quizzes, if you don't get 100, it's honestly kind of scary because it'll just be like, what's the color of the sky? Blue. Oh, you misspelled blue. That's a shame. And even then, I would be lenient in here because of the small class size and because I want y'all to do awesome. Course communications, come to class every day, which, you know, whether you're coming to class live or you're catching a quote rerun on YouTube later that same day, but don't watch these videos 2 weeks later because there might be a password for something that's due within 1 class or within a week or something like that, or other assignments, because how are you going to find out when assignments are due? Generally the lecture, and I'll have the due dates posted in my math lab as I roll them out. I was actually trying to set up due dates this morning, but my math lab was giving me a giving me a problem. It wouldn't let me edit assignments, and that's probably because people are registering for courses and their servers are bogged down. And that's another thing. My math lab occasionally has problems. If you ever have issues for more than a couple hours, shoot me an email and let me know, because it's probably not just you. And especially if it's like the day something's due, that can be a problem. But that's also a reason to not dilly-dally, to not wait till the last second to do assignments like most students want to do. And I'm not going to act like I'm perfect. I dilly-dally every now and then too. But the problem is when you have technology involved, if it goes down and you waited till, you know, day 7 of something is due, That doesn't mean that you're going to get an extension for something like that. Maybe the first time, but maybe not the second or third time. So attendance, what does attendance mean for this course? This is really just, are you continuing to do something? Do I see your name in the participants list, which I don't even know if this shows right now, but it would in the YouTube video. So, oh, okay, so you were definitely there. Do I see you participating in the discussion boards? Because how do you know what to discuss in the discussion boards? I would probably said something in a video. I'll have it typed up in the discussion board too, but how do you know, how do you know a new one posted? How do you know which Excel assignments due? You have to watch these videos. So it's really hard to rationally withdraw a student for attendance with this. But if I see someone, they haven't done any Mymathlab homework for 3 weeks, they've done no Excel assignments, I haven't seen them submit any quizzes, I haven't seen them do any discussion boards for 3 weeks, that's definitely a student who's going to get withdrawn or a failing grade if it's after the deadline. So 15%, what is that? We meet 20 times, right? So that's 30, I'm sorry, that's 3 classes. So if you, quote, miss more than 3 days, so technically if you weren't submitting stuff for a week and a half, I'm allowed to withdraw you. I'm gonna, excuse me, I'm gonna play that by ear. I appreciate communication. If you've got something going on, a sick family member, a death in the family, anything COVID related, and it doesn't have to be so extreme. Your car broke down and you're out of state, whatever, in the land of no internet in middle North Carolina, I don't know. Just communicate with me when you can, and we can try and work things out. But no communication, no submission of assignments, technically 3 classes, and I can get rid of you, but I don't want to have to do that. I want you to succeed. I want you to participate. I want you to kick butt. Late work, makeup work, generally, I'm not going to do that. You've got to have extenuating circumstances in order for those things to fly, because due dates will always be specified ahead of time. Classroom behavior, I don't think I really need to talk about that. Electronic devices, I don't need to talk about that. Inclement weather, we've already basically talked about that. In case I have power or if I lose power, that's probably why I'm not lecturing if I don't give you a message ahead of time, which hopefully that does not happen. A lot of stuff we don't need to discuss so much. Deadline, so May 28th, just around the corner. Was that 9 days from now? That's your deadline to get your money back for a tuition refund. And then July 1st, that's your withdrawal date. So if you withdraw after that, it is an automatic failing grade, unless you have extenuating circumstances, like you had to move to Canada, which you could still complete this course online if you move to Canada. Maybe you're 8-9 months pregnant, something like that, illnesses, what have you. And by the way, if you went to TCC during the spring semester and we had that whole weird grading system, the P+, P-, WC, that is not happening this summer, because you all understand how this course works from day one. That was only because we were halfway through a semester and things changed drastically. So please understand, this is an A, B, C, D, F class, no matter what, at least as far as I know now. And you know what? If the administrators decide to change that in 6 or 7 weeks, then we will go with the changes. But for now, it's A, B, C, D, F, and I don't anticipate that changing. Plagiarism, academic misconduct, make sure all of your work is your own. Do not have anyone else do your work for you. I always reserve the right to give you a, I don't want to say this, like a verbal test. I can say, well, did you really do this? I've seen some really sketchy things here and there. I'm seeing stuff that I don't trust. So maybe I'll say, all right, well, I need you to demonstrate to me one-on-one, get you on a Zoom call, whatever we have to do. And I don't want to have to do that. I want everybody to be doing their own work. Again, you've got notes for all your stuff. You're not technically supposed to have any notes for your midterms or your finals. And I am likely going to do testing with Zoom using your cell phones or your webcam to monitor you, something like that. That's a possibility. So just be aware of that. Educational accessibility, aka disability services. If you have any forms through TCC, you can email that to me to make me aware, and I will accommodate you in every way that it says. If it's something like extra testing time, please let me know when the midterm and/or the final happens, because if you give me a form today or tomorrow, and then the midterm 7 weeks from now, with everything else going on, I will honestly not remember. It most likely. And again, with a much smaller class, we only have like 10 students. The probability of me remembering is much stronger, but I can't guarantee it. So it would just be appreciated, especially for your own sake. Hey, remind me, Mr. Beckner, I've got this accommodation. Can you make sure that you accommodate me? And I will say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, yes, whatever, and we're good to go. If you think you need accommodations, if you don't have the form signed through TCC or created through TCC, legally I can't help you. It has to be through TCC, so please contact them. Emergency procedures, this is really not going to be an issue. Library, I mean, I don't think the campus is open this summer. There are some learning resources available still, I believe. We had the tutoring lab available digitally, available virtually last semester. I am waiting on a response as to whether or not they're still funded, or whether or not they're at least still available. So if they are, I will give you that information when it pops up. Some good math websites, Khan Academy and purplemath.com. Why does Khan Academy look like it's spelled wrong? Is it Khan or Kahn? It is Khan. I thought so. So that's wrong. Khan. I didn't type that. Someone else did, thankfully. So there's a lot of prerequisite knowledge for this course. You are supposed to be up to par with your signed arithmetic. You are supposed to be up to par with fractions and decimals. How do you add fractions? You got to get an LCD. How do you multiply them? You go straight across and reduce. There's no LCD for multiplying. How do you handle decimals? Now you got calculators, so calculators are great for decimals, but for fractions, they can do things incorrectly. They'll give you decimal answers when you're supposed to have a fraction answer. And if you try and add 1/2 and 1/3, it's going to give you an answer of, what is that, 0.8666666. And when you type that in your homework, it's going to mark it wrong because they wanted 5/6. They didn't want 0.8 blah, 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 blah. Even if you did it appropriately with the bar over the 3 or the 6 or whatever number I said, because I can't remember what number I had in my head now. So when you're looking at fraction math, usually the answers need to be fractions, and there are fractions that aren't so pretty when you put them in a calculator. So you are still supposed to remember how to add and subtract fractions. I'm not here to teach that. You're supposed to remember how to multiply and divide fractions. I'm not here to teach that. So if you're rusty, these are 2 good sites that maybe you can find knowledge on that, or just Google basic math help. Hey, how to add fractions in Google. You can probably find something very, very helpful. YouTube, whatever you have to do. So again, there is still math that you're supposed to understand coming in here. Very, very basic equation solving. Things like 3x equals 12 or x plus 19 equals 11. And then just a bunch more websites. You can look through all that on your own time. Any questions regarding the syllabus, and if it has anything to do with specific assignments, where to find them, we're about to start getting into that. Give you about 15 seconds in case anyone has a question. And if not, I can always come back. Okay. So let's look at Mymathlab. So I just wanted to show this. This was the error message I got when I was trying to go into the assignments and edit the due dates, because right now everything is past due. And you shouldn't even see the midterm and the final and the review as soon as I can edit this. So the very first thing for now should be this orientation, which you all need to do. I'm not going to grade that assignment. If you don't do it, that's not going to count against your grade, but trust me, do that assignment. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. It just orients you with how to use Mymathlab. There's also a video here on how to complete and submit Excel homework in Mymathlab. I'm going to tell you how to do that right now, but you can always come back to this. And an Excel homework budget. Honestly, We're not going to do that one, at least not at the beginning of the semester. This one is a little more heavy-handed than should be for our first assignment. And that's why you see there's no due date here, because I didn't assign that last semester. This is the first Mymathlab homework section. So section 1.1. We won't get to this for a while because we got to cover chapter 0 first. There is no chapter 0 Mymathlab homework. The Mymathlab homework, the traditional math homework, starts in chapter 1. This will be our first Excel assignment, Excel homework 1.1. So how can you tell whether something's a Mymathlab homework or an Excel homework? Well, if it says section, if it starts out with section, that's Mymathlab homework. If it starts out with Excel, that makes it an Excel homework. Now, last semester, you can see that we did heart rate, we did TV loan, but we did not do taxes. There's no due date here. So last semester in the spring, we didn't do that, and I anticipate the same thing. I'm going to mostly keep my Excel assignments similar to last semester because I've been fine-tuning these. I've been switching them every semester, and I might change out one or two. But you'll definitely be doing the ones that you see on this screen for the moment. We'll definitely do heart rate, we'll definitely do TV loan, and we're definitely going to do BMI. So those 3, there's 5 out of chapter 1 I could assign you, but I only give you 3. And that's where you say, thank you, Mr. Beckner. Ha ha ha. Like I said, trust me, this course would take you 20 hours a week if I gave you every assignment. And that's not fair. You got lives. So Mymathlab Homework 1.1, you'll be doing that, Excel. Another Excel, which these are not going to be due back to back. These were due different weeks that semester. So at least not the same class or back to back in this semester as well. So when you first log into Mymathlab, it's going to look like this. How do you actually create an account in Mymathlab? Boom, here we go. So Math 154, Helpful Tips to Start 2020. This is a file you'll see in Canvas. We'll come back to the Mymathlab, don't worry. So in Canvas, we're under the home screen, Ordinary Modules, the very first thing, and I'm gonna move this from the top shortly. I want the lecture videos on the top, but for today, at least for the first week, I wanted that on the top so you couldn't miss it. Read this, exclamation, 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 must be important. So you can download that file there, and here it is. So, bold, Mymathlab Helpful Tips, how to create a Mymathlab account, because every single one of you needs to do this today or tomorrow. I am very, very adamant about you having to do this today or tomorrow. I can withdraw students for lack of participation or lack of attendance, and this counts as participation, and that's only for the first day. So if you don't do this before the next class, I have I'm going to say option, but I'm very likely going to remove you from the course, because if you can't just go ahead and create your account, which takes all of 5 to 10 minutes, how can I trust you for the rest of the semester to do Mymathlab homework, quizzes, discussion boards, Excel homeworks, a project, a midterm, and a final, if you can't take 10 minutes to create an account? So do this today or tomorrow. So go to mymathlab.com, click register now as a student, because there's 2 options. Click OK, then you'll enter your course ID, which was that Beckner, and I don't remember the 5 numbers, I'll get it in a second. Then you'll hit the create an account button. All caps, make sure to record your username and email and password, whatever you're setting up with, because I can't necessarily get these to you. I can get 1 or 2 of them, but I can't get you your password. And also make sure that if you're using your student account, which I recommend, I really highly encourage you to use your TCC email, which is at email.vccs.edu. Please quadruple check that part is correct. I can't tell you how many students have done this incorrectly over my 14, 15 years of teaching. They'll miss that second C, or they'll miss the whole email part. Why am I typing email from email address? That just seems weird, so I don't need that. So just at vccs.edu. It looks like it should be right, but it's wrong. So make sure you get this part right, because here's what happens. If you miss this C, oh, okay, I'm using R Beckner 0 whatever at this. So you'll be able to create your account, and if you do some homework while you're logged in, it'll be there. But then when you go to log in the next day, maybe you try and log in with the actual correct email address, and it says you don't have an account. And you start panicking. well, man, I spent 3 hours working on homework last time and I've lost it. Where did it go? And you go and they say, all right, well, if you just type in your email address, then we'll send you an email and get it straight. But if you typed in a fake email address on accident, how are they going to send it to you? First of all, you're probably not going to know that. So they're going to say you don't have an account. And then you're going to go, yes, I do have an account, because you put in a wrong email address. And the problem is, even if you have the email address wrong, let's say you forget your password, they email you, they send an email with your password to an email that doesn't exist. Point being, get your email right, please, and thank you for your own benefit. All right, so let's say probably most of you, if not all of you, don't have your course materials yet. You don't have your MyMathLab code. Thankfully, there's a 14-day free trial at the bottom of the page where you normally enter your code or purchase a code. Now, I can't show you this screen. I will draw up what it looks like. So here's that process. And let me, no, wrong window. Let's see, mymathlab.com. Register now as a student. Click. It tells you the things you need. Okay, register now. Enter your course ID, which was Beckner. There's some 5s and 7s. Oh no, 7s and 6s. 77766. That was close. Lucky 7s. Continue. And on the right side, you should see your course, Math 154, Summer 2020, blah, 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 blah. Now at this point, you can either, if you've used MyMathLab before, you can tell this isn't my computer based on the email that just popped up. I am not Jen. You can go ahead and sign in at this point if you already have an account. And if you're repeating this course, you do not have to pay for the course a second time. Make sure you understand that. If you are a repeat student, you don't have to purchase a MyMathLab code again. Now, if for some reason you didn't purchase the code, you have to purchase it for the first time. That's a different story. But most of you are probably going to hit the Create Account button. And this is where you'll put in your email address, your username that you want. Just going to keep saying the same thing. Double check your passwords, write them down, put them in a text file, whatever you have to do. First name, last name, security question, security answer, agree to the terms. You can click this if necessary, which is probably necessary, and then create account. They used to have a button. And you can also click, I do not wish. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I see what it is. So if you're under 18, this checkbox has never been there before. This is brand new to me, and I do this every semester. So if you check this, the other box goes away, I guess, for privacy. If you're under 18, they're not going to send you information about products. But if you're over 18, then you can click, hey, yep, I don't want the products. And then you'll click this Create Account button. Now, the next page is what I can't show you. So after you click Create Account, let me just go to a blank part. You'll come to a page that'll look like this. So this is after you hit Create Account. You'll have a button up here that'll say Use your code. You'll have a button next to it that says Buy a code. So you do not have to buy it directly through TCC, Barnes & Noble. You can purchase it through them. And I have been led to believe that if you have financial aid, that you can be reimbursed if you purchase your code through the bookstore, at least. But I don't know if you buy it directly through Pearson. So again, if you have financial aid, you probably want to wait to buy it through the bookstore. But you could also find people to ask that question to, where if you buy it digitally, can you be reimbursed? But I don't know 100% that you can. So maybe you want to avoid that option if you're on financial aid. And then down at the bottom in smaller font, it'll say blah, 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 14-day trial. And this right here is smaller font. They want to kind of hide it, I guess, to make you think you have to have it immediately. I don't know. Now, once those 14 days are up, you're locked out of your account. You don't lose anything. So let's say 14 days go by, but you still haven't purchased your code. You get it 2 days later. then you put your code in and everything's still there, and maybe you missed an assignment or two, and it won't be the end of the world. I would prefer that not to happen, but I know sometimes these things happen. I have been led to believe that these are on back order through Barnes & Noble, so I suggest that you put that order in as soon as possible. That way there isn't an extended delay, but again, at least you have your 14-day free trial. All right, so back to Mymathlab. So after you do all that, you first log in, you probably won't have this Math 154 quote online. Go to active student courses, and you should just see this one, I believe. And I see that I've got 4 of you, which is awesome. I don't want to cross-reference you on and put you on blast on YouTube, so I won't show that. So when you first open the course, this is what it'll look like. And you're going to spend most of your time in this e-text contents, guided worksheets, assignments, student gradebook, now I'm a weird dog, gradebook, and video and resource library. So we're going to go through all those tabs. The syllabus, if there's anything in here, it's going to be last semester syllabus because I have it available in Canvas. And like I said, my math lab's being a little laggy this morning. So yeah, I can't even tell at the moment. So your e-text. When you go to your e-text tab, you got 13 chapters, which we don't cover all of these. We stop at chapter 10 if we even make it that far. We skip chapter 7. So chapter 0. Learn how to submit an Excel homework. So that's just a random Spreadsheets basic thing. You can open that, and it's a media video actually, so that's not the textbook. The textbook you see when you go to the section numbers, section 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Which, by the way, oh, I guess I didn't have that in there because it's so super easy. So that's just where your e-text is. So again, into the main menu, e-text, hit the chapter you want to be in, hit the section you want to be in, and then you hit explore. And you wait a little bit, pop-up blocked. You might have pop-up blocker issues. You'll have to figure those out. Sweet, it loaded in the first try. Sometimes it'll take you to something that says PKA, that's prior knowledge assessment. It basically just means prereq material. So if you see anything in that you don't remember, then study it. But we only talk about the non-PKA stuff in case you ever see it, which I'll show it at some point. So here's section 0.1, Intro to Spreadsheets. So when we get to the Excel stuff, probably next class, we will be going through this book page by page and learning to build an Excel file with multiple tabs. So we will be building this assignment, this Excel file. I'm probably going to ask you to submit it. I won't necessarily grade it like 100, 99, 97, 82 or anything like that, but I want submissions just to make sure that you tried, since I can't stand over you like I would in a lab, which is what I usually do. So we'll go through all 3 sections of this. I won't always pull up a textbook. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But we'll go through all of these. So go ahead and put your eyes on this before next class, just to have an idea of things. But again, we're going to work towards building this from scratch. Now, Excel homeworks are not like that usually. This is going to feel more like a project because we have to start from scratch. The Excel homeworks already have information in there, so we won't have to type item, soda, water, popcorn, cookie, hot dog. It would already be there. We would just have to be putting in numbers and equations and formulas and things like that and building charts. So I'll show you what that looks like later. All right, so that's how you pull up the textbook. And if I just kept going right, it will take you to the next section and the next chapter, and it just keeps going. Demonstrate that. Still in the first section, still in the first section. The first section's a little long, and now we're in the second section. I think you can even go up here and type it. All right, I want to go to page 15. Yep, there we go. Page 16, 17. We're in the third section now. And then chapter 1. So when I'm in chapter 1, this purple PKA, that's the, like I said, that's the prior knowledge stuff. This is prereq material. This is an interactive textbook. You can click on things. So when things are highlighted, oh, quantitative literacy. What is that? The ability to read, write, and communicate effectively with numbers. So quantitative just means numbers. Literally, literacy means, I guess, good at. Good at numbers. Okay, so if you end up in one of these PK, skip to the actual section. There we go, 1.1. And you can keep going through every single section in the book. So that's how we access our e-text. What are we supposed to read? One section ahead. Not the section we just went over, one section ahead. Okay, more helpful tips. I don't want to do these in order actually since I'm already here. To view or print worksheets, which you're supposed to, quote, bring to class, which is just, wherever you are in the world. Go to ebook, go to the specific chapter you want, click the bottom link where it says guided worksheets, which you should have already seen, in fact. So ebook, specific chapter, and then the bottom. So just from the back in the main menu, ebook, e-text. So chapter 0, that's the first one we'll be working on. And then chapter 0, guided worksheets. So you always have the sections, then the guided worksheets. Here's chapter 1's sections, the PKA, guided worksheets. How about chapter 4? Sections with some PKA, guided worksheets. So let's see what the guided worksheets look like for chapter 0. So click that, download it. It might open it in a new tab. It might open in a new window. You can download this and save it as a PDF. You can print it right here. Now, again, if you have a different browser, maybe these buttons are somewhere else. Learn your browser. Google is your friend. How to blah, blah, blah in Mozilla or Internet Explorer if you're living in 1999, whatever. So this is what the guided worksheets look like. You'll have some boxes for key terms, and then you can write in definitions. So the arithmetic mean, you could write add them up. Oh, that's right. My pen works differently if I'm not in a Word file. So I have to click this, and my handwriting looks a lot worse too because it doesn't have an algorithm to clean it up. But add the numbers, and I'll try and be a little neater in general than this, but still it kind of sucks. Add the numbers and divide by the number of them. Something like that. Inputs, the things that go in. Outputs, the thing that go out. We'll talk about that in more detail later. And when I am writing in these guided worksheets, which you'll see me do often, I can no longer scroll the screen. In order for me to move, I have to completely clear the screen. So make sure you get things. If I ever clear it too soon, you can always go to the replay on YouTube. But I try and be reasonable with how long I leave things up. And I go off of annotate, wherever the heck it is. You see my mouse moving around crazy. It's because I've got some menus here that you probably can't see. All right, so this guided worksheet, this one in particular follows the textbook pretty heavily. It tells you a lot of the things that the textbook says. It gives you a lot of the information, the ribbon, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's where your shortcuts are. More definitions that we can discuss. And I don't necessarily give you every single one of these definitions. So you might have to go to the textbook to find some of them. You might have to go to your homework to find some of them. Google, whatever. And look, this guided worksheet, here's that spreadsheet you saw in the textbook. And it might be a little fuzzy. If you print it, it might be in black and white. Don't worry about anything like that. Just do the best we can. There's questions to answer along the way. So when you are building that Excel file, you can say, all right, for question 1, what formula is entered in cell E3? What's cell? What's an E3? We'll get into that stuff. How did you do this? What is here? What happens there? Etc., 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 etc. So that's what your guided worksheets look like. Now for chapter 0, we will do the whole thing. We don't do all the guided worksheets. Again, we only have the time to cover, I don't know, not even half of them. So don't assume that we're going to do them all. If you want to do them all, be my guest, but we definitely won't. All right, so under the main menu, you might say, well, Mr. Beckner, the guided worksheets is right here. Why did you go through the e-text and all those submenus? That's just silly, Mr. Beckner, right? Here's why. If you pull up the guided worksheets from the main tab, view the guided worksheets. So this is all the guided worksheets, chapter 0, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. This thing is 450 pages long. That is a ridiculously long file. So yes, you can certainly download it that way. I wouldn't suggest printing it that way though, because we are not going to cover all of this stuff. Anything that says statistics, we don't do. Anything chapter 11, 12, 13, we don't do. Chapter 10, this is me whispering, we probably won't do. So it works, but it's a lot more manageable if you just go to the e-text, the specific chapter, then it's guided worksheets. That's much more manageable. Okay. Where's my windows? Not pulling up anymore. So next up on the helpful tips, we covered viewing and printing worksheets. How about these Excel assignments? To download, log into Mymathlab. The G Willikers, no surprise there. Go to your assignments. We already saw where they were. Click the relevant one. And again, I will always specify which ones to do. I've already told you the first 3. Download the file under step 1. And I point out here, you may have to click enable editing once open. The previous window should detail simple instructions to submit the file for grading as well. See Mymathlab assignment for help, which was that very, very, very first thing in the chapter 0 bit. It's also in the, this isn't working anymore. When you go under assignments, right here. So that's what I was mentioning in that little Word file. Okay, so the first Excel file you're going to have to do is the TV loan. And because it's past due, it's not going to let me click it. Now it lets me in. All right. We're under quizzes and tests. Let's go to homework. Sorry for this. I can't help it when Mymathlab is crawling. And it's gonna, you know what? I have a better idea. I'm not gonna be able to show you your first assignment and how short and simple it is, but we'll look at that next time. Yay, technology is fun. All right, so here we go. Taxes, since that wasn't submitted, I can still access it. So I clicked, let's just pretend like this is the first one we had to do. So you click the file, pulls up another window. Step 1, download materials. And then it's got steps 2, 3, and 4 on what to do. So step 4, when you're ready, this is where you click submit. So you download materials. You should probably download them all as a zip file. So just download all files. You can do individuals if you want. Open it up. You have a separate instruction file that's a Word file. So this is that enable editing button I said, but this is generally for the Excel. It'd be in the same place. And it tells you every single step and exactly what to do. Reading comprehension, taking your time, following instructions, paying attention, and making sure things make sense. These are all critical components to doing well on this. If you, in cell H6, all right, I got this, blah, 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 blah. No. In cell H6, find the base tax for A and B according to their income in cell G6. So it tells you, hey, look at this spot and then do this thing. In this cell, do this thing. In this cell, do this thing. It tells you what each one is worth points-wise. That's why I said the grading scale in the syllabus was garbage. Shouldn't be there at all. It's old. These weren't always automatically graded. It tells you all your instructions. Now this Word file, is here. So if I open the Excel file, if I open the Excel file, there we go. Here's the Enable Editing button. When you first open it, you'll see the same exact instructions. I believe verbatim copy paste. To go to the actual questions and work, you go to the questions tab. So again, this is not one you have to do. I wish I could show you the much simpler one. Technology is technology though. So okay, here, do this thing, here, do that thing. And it might look, oh my, wow, holy cow. Look at, I gotta fill out all of these. I gotta type something here and here and here and here and here. Mr. Beckner, are you crazy? No, I'm not. Well, I might be a little, I'm a math teacher, so what do you expect? But no, all you'll be doing for this, you'll type something here, something here, something here, and something here. And then what you'll do is you'll end up highlighting all four of those. You'll grab this little box, you'll drag it down, you highlight the rest of them, you let go, and boom, that fills out that whole table. This is the beauty of Excel. Excel is amazing for what we call batch processing. So you work for a company and your boss brings you this and he says, I need a table filled out for all these different incomes and I need this in 10 minutes. Now, a student who doesn't know Excel goes, there's no way I can do that. How am I going to calculate these numbers for increments of 1,000 from 78,000 to 165,000? That's almost 100 different values. That's almost 400 different pieces of information that you want in 10 minutes. That's impossible. And then your boss goes, that sucks. You're fired. And that does suck. Because then the person next to you, that other student who has learned Excel, or that other employee who's learned Excel is going to go, boss, I can get that done in 5 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. Obviously, I don't want to actually do that work for you. And then boom, highlight, bring it down, doing all the appropriate things. See, look at that. When I did that dragging, it filled all these things out. Now, obviously, this is not what we want. They would be numbers and formulas and calculations, but they're not complicated, believe it or not, for this problem. In fact, looking at this one, it makes me want to assign it to my next semester's class. I already said I wouldn't do it for this one, but another semester. So once you have this, you'll save it. I do suggest saving it with your name somewhere, but it's not mandatory. I really don't like that it's not mandatory. And then you can go back to this screen. Now, if you don't have this pulled up still, you can go back to Mymathlab and you can click that again. It'll pull up this and you can submit it for grading, or sorry, upload. You have to choose the file. After you upload it, then you click submit for grading. Now, once you submit for grading, and I can't show this screen until I have a student with a grade, unfortunately, and then I need them to volunteer me allowing them to say, hey, this is what it looks like. So I will ask that at some point, but again, for now, when you submit for grading, within a couple of seconds, you should have your grade, and then you'll have something you can click, and it will go in detail what you missed and what you didn't. So under the point system, where are we? No, not that. Here. So in the grading, it'll kind of look like this, and then there'll be another column that says points earned, I believe. And okay, so 2 points possible, and it might say 1.5. And if you click that somewhere, then it will tell you what you did wrong. So, oh, you got 1.5s. Why is that? Click, and then it says, in the box, you're supposed to enter this, blah, 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 which clearly means you did not do that. Now, I will admit, the auto grader is good, but it's not perfect in their explanation. Sometimes it explains things a little too complicated. Sometimes it doesn't, so you're gonna have to practice and try and learn to interpret and see. But it usually goes back to you didn't follow instructions. If you don't follow instructions, it is likely that you might have something look right and it's wrong. Maybe the answer is 5 and you type 5 and it's like, well, you didn't enter the formula because you were supposed to go equals sum blah, 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 maybe, which we'll get into how to do that next time. and we said you get 5 attempts. I'll pull up this. So I don't have this in here, I don't believe. Yes, I do. Perfect. So again, all those instructions were there. Pay attention in class to know which Excel files to complete. You'll be given 5 attempts and only the highest grade will be counted. I'm not going to average them. It's not going to be the first. It's not going to be the last. It's the highest. So if you do best on your first and then you just make worse and worse and worse errors for some reason, which is rare, but could happen, then your first one would be the grade. If your last one's your best one, which is usually the case, then that's your grade. They're instantly graded. Feedback is given. Use the feedback to do better on the next attempt. Generally, Excel is due 1 week after assigned. And as I said, we're going to do about 8, maybe 9, so roughly 1 a week, but not assigned yet. We want to actually do all the Excel discussion before I assign any of them. So it's going to be a little bit before we have official homework due. All right. So course videos. Now, when I say course videos, I don't mean the videos that I make. I mean the videos that the people who wrote the textbook made. I think his name is Gaze, William Gaze. Log into Mymathlab, of course. Go to Video and Resource Library, click Video, and then Find Now. There will be videos on some of these. I'm sorry, there will be quizzes on some of these videos. Generally, quizzes are due next class. Again, Mymathlab homework and Excel homework is generally due within one week. Quizzes are due the next class. And I mean by the next class. So Excel homeworks and Mymathlab homeworks are always due 11:59 p.m. of the day due. Quizzes will be due by the time class starts. So Mymathlab homeworks and Excel homeworks are due by midnight on due dates. Quizzes are due by 8:30 a.m. All right, so let's see what those look like. Video and Resource Library. I don't know why I just clicked it a second time. That was silly of me. All right, and then it said, you can do more specific things than what I have. What I say is just click video and then find now. That's all I say. So here's the video and find now. But what that's going to do is open up all the videos for all chapters. If you just want a specific chapter, like I'm only interested in chapter 0, Spreadsheet Basics, which I'm going to say this 3 times. There are amazing videos in here. There are amazing videos in here. There are amazing videos in here. You should be coming back to this when you don't know how to do something on Excel. You should be coming back to these when you don't know how to do something on Excel. You should be coming back to these when you don't know how to do something in Excel. Also, go back to the videos in YouTube of me demonstrating how to use Excel. That would be good too. But again, if you just leave it all chapters, all sections, click video, find now, you get a boatload. Chapter 0 videos, spreadsheet tutorial, spreadsheet tutorial, spreadsheet tutorial, spreadsheet tutorial. And maybe you're having a hard time finding them with your eyes. Well, I'm trying to find something involving formulas. So hit Control F, type in the word formula, and it'll show all the ones that have formulas in them. Control F, if you're on an Apple computer, I think it might be a different button than Control. It might be Command, something like that. Don't be afraid to try things. Google, that's also your friend. All right, so maybe you're trying to fill formulas using the fill handle. So maybe this is the one you're looking at. So, Control F, formula. And then it shows, where'd it go? Here it is, fill handle. All right, so I'm trying to use the fill handle. The fill handle, remember when I grabbed a box in Excel and all of a sudden a bunch of more text popped up? That was the fill handle that I grabbed. So let's check this one out. And you can play it. And that's our author, Gaze. See, look, you didn't have to type all that stuff. So you get the point. I don't want to just play that video. You can move it around. You can rewind, you can replay it, you can change the volume, you can blast it, you can make it quiet, whatever's important for you. Closed captions, I don't know if they're available or not. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any closed captions. Okay. You can even increase the speed. You can slow it down. So, you know, maybe you just really need this to. Or maybe you're super fast. And now he sounds like me talking because I can get talking really fast too. Blah, 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 blah. So lots of awesome videos. Now I said I'd give you some quizzes on these because the quizzes are there to encourage you to check them out, to remind you that they're there. Otherwise, you'd probably forget. When I give a quiz question, I'll tell you which one to go to. So you might say, oh, okay, well, in spreadsheet tutorial, copying a formula using the fill handle, I might say, was he talking about 1 minute in, or what did he click to do this? Or, you know, just very simple questions that, again, should be very easy to answer as long as you watch the video. Maybe watch it twice, maybe watch it 3 times. Repetition is key. It's important for a lot of people. So chapter 0 has a lot of videos. You're going to see a lot less for the laters. It's only like 10 to 20 for chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. Actually, they've added some videos that didn't used to be here. Chapter 5, chapter 6. Chapter 0 is where I expect people to come back to the most. Lots of Excel stuff. Mr. Beckner, I'm not understanding Excel. How do I do this? Well, did you watch the tutorial videos? That's very often what I will say. Or did you go back to the videos from when we were doing Excel in class? Very often that helps. Did you pay attention to the instructions? Because the instructions are foolproof most of the time. All right, so that's how we get our videos, which again, there will be quizzes on, at least 1, maybe 2 or 3. Okay, to submit Mymathlab homework, this is the easiest one of them all, which is why I saved it for almost last. Just go to Mymathlab, do the work there before the due dates, generally due within 1 week. Every time you submit a problem, it's saved. You don't have to click a save button, you just submit it. If it's right, then you're good. And once it's right permanently. So assignments. So we're working in 1.2 right now, right? Oh no, I can't. That's past due. Darn it. Okay, I'm gonna have to go to a later one. Here we go. So you click the homework. There's 17 questions in this chapter 9 homework, so this is going to the end of the semester because that's what I can click, unfortunately. Some homeworks have drop-down menus. Some of them have numbers you have to type. Some of them have multiple choice questions. Multiple choice. Multiple choice. Multiple choice. Multiple choice. Wow, this one's got a lot of multiple choice. Some more than others. Oh, what's the symbol? Just math. So you make $75,000 per year. Your company matches 50 cents for every dollar you deposit in your 401k plan, up to 8% of your salary. There's a decent amount of math going into this, and I'm not going to do any of it right now because it's way too early in the semester for that. So let's say you thought the answer was 5. And it tells you you're wrong. Okay, well now I think the answer is 6. And it tells me I'm wrong. Well, maybe it's 7. 7.1 probably, actually. I got it wrong. So that was 3 incorrect attempts. And for problems like that on the 3rd attempt, it actually tells you the right answer. It says it should have been $200, and you hit OK. Now, that was the final check. You only get 3 attempts for a problem. Oh, there's multiple parts, so A through C. I'm going to have to do this a couple times. So you get 3 attempts per part, per problem. All right, 5. And the answer was 3,000. So if I hit next question, it takes me to question number 9. If I had hit similar question and that option is still down here, so I've got a red X here, all these are wrong, but if I hit similar, watch what happens to the numbers on my screen. Watch the 75,000, watch the 8%, maybe the 50 cents, maybe the $400. Let's see what happens. So similar question. Now that says 85,000, that says 300, and that says 5%. So similar question is the exact same concept, but with different numbers. So now maybe you figured it out now and you can get it right on the first attempt, which I'm not going to do any of the work. I don't want to show it now. But when you click this question help button, help me solve this, view an example. I'm a bigger fan of view an example because it doesn't change the numbers, but I also know a lot of students like help me solve this because it actually makes you input things. So they say, all right, blah, 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 since the company will only match 5% of your salary, blah, 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 blah. They say, what is 5% of 85,000? And if you did that math, 0.05 times 85 grand is 4250. And then you check answer, and it says, hey, you did a good job, you did it right. Now let's try the next part. And you can keep going and keep going and keep going. So that can help teach you the process of the problem, so then you can go back to yours. Now, if you do help me solve this, it changes the numbers. Again, view an example does not. But again, at least the help me solve this has your input along the way. So I still like that. It can also pull up the textbook. I really don't use the Ask My Instructor for the most part. I prefer that you're doing these homeworks on your own. I might answer a question every now and then, but quite often if you're someone who's going to ask me 50, 60 of those, I'm not going to answer them. 1 or 2, that's fine. But the homework is supposed to be on you. Now, once you get these correct, it'll say, good job. You'll have a green check here permanently, and you never have to do it again. Now, maybe you don't feel comfortable. You can still hit that similar exercise button after you have it green, after it's all correct. It will still keep your correct answer. You still get the credit, but it just gives you another attempt to try that problem again. Because again, repetition is key. You can really quickly go to other problems. You can go to the last one, go to the first one. Lots of good stuff. So that's how we get to our Mymathlab homework. What do I want to say about that? Roughly about 10 points, let me say up to 10 points, will be added to each individual homework grade, Mymathlab homework grade. Maximum of a 100% though, at the end of the semester. So occasionally there's a question or two in the Mymathlab homework that goes above and beyond what we should have to be doing. Now, sometimes that will be part of another question that I need, but there isn't an option to remove the second part, and there isn't a question with only the first part somewhere. So because of that, sometimes there's questions in there that I think shouldn't count. And also sometimes, we keep typing an answer of like 3.92 and the answer is really supposed to be 3.91. Clearly, if this is a bigger problem, you understood the concept of the problem, and I don't feel like you should be penalized overall for a bunch of things like that. So this is just some wiggle room. But as I said, I will not give anybody higher than a 100 on an individual homework grade. This will not be reflected in Mymathlab. So if you get an 82 in the Mymathlab homework, it's never going to change. It's going to say an 82. But at the end of the semester, in my grade book, I'll have it as a 92. If you got a 99, I'm going to give you 100. If you got a 98, I'm going to give you 100. If you got 100, I'm going to give you 100. If you got a 90, I'll give you 100. Anything under a 90, you get 10 points. Anything 90 or higher, you just get 100. I only do that with the Mymathlab homeworks, not the Excel homeworks. Do not trust the Mymathlab grade that you see. Oh, it says my course average is a 95. That's great. Yeah, that might be right, but it's probably wrong. Here's why it's probably wrong. You're going to have grades in Canvas. You're going to have grades in Mymathlab. I can't merge them, and it's extremely tedious to make them available with all the different grades we have and all the different formats. Also, Mymathlab doesn't count zeros. If you never touch an assignment, if you just skip it and then it goes past due, you've got a 0 in my grade book, but Mymathlab won't mark it as a 0. So you might go the whole semester and do one homework assignment. You got a 95 on it. At the end of the semester, it'll say your grade is a 95. Yeah, but it's missing the 21 zeros that you don't have accounted for. So your grade's really like a 5, maybe a 4. So don't trust the MyMathLab grade. Keep track of your grades on your own. Make an Excel spreadsheet and have your MyMathLab homework set up in a column or in a row, and then have the average calculated somewhere. These are the things that we teach you. We teach you to fish in here, not give you a fish. We teach you to fish. All right, we talked about that. We talked about that. So we're using Excel in here. You might be thinking, I can't afford Excel. Yes, you can. Excel is free to every TCC student. Do not use Numbers. Numbers is the program Apple has. Do not use Google Spreadsheets. Do not use the online version of this. You need to be using the desktop version, which means you have a shortcut on your desktop, or you go to your Windows menu, and it might be under the Microsoft package, but you actually load up Excel, and this is what it should look like. Maybe a little of a variation if you've got an older or a newer version than I do, but you are not supposed to use the online version. I'm not saying to go into this website and access Excel that way. You have to download it. Now, here's the reason. Numbers and Google Sheets and all these others, the Open Office has one as well. I can't remember the name of it, which doesn't matter, but they don't all have the exact same functions. They're about 95% matching. But when you go to make charts, there's some things that are different. When you go to use built-in functions, there's some things that are different. And if you use a program that you're not supposed to be using, or an alternative version of Excel that you're not supposed to be using, the auto grader marks things wrong. And I'm not going to go back and give you credit because you're using a program you're not supposed to be using. You all get this for free. You have to use it. Now, if you have a Chromebook, and I think there might be another type of thing like a Chromebook that it's proprietary software, it's not Microsoft, it's Google Chrome. Again, they'll have that Numbers or Google Sheets or whatever it might be. They're not the same. And in fact, if you have a Chromebook, you can't, I believe you can't even download Excel. I believe if you go to this website and try to download it, you won't be able to. So if you have a Chromebook, that really sucks in this regard, and I'm sorry, but you will need to find computer access that you can use the legit Excel for. It's super easy to get. You go to this website, you log in using your student credentials. In the top right area, you should have a link to download. It's super easy. There's some notes up here. One or two may not be relevant. Bring a scientific calculator to class, quote class each day, while you're at home. You can use your cell phones, but you're not supposed to be using cell phones for tests. So I would say get yourself a scientific calculator if you don't already own one. We recommend the TI 30X-2S, that's a Roman 2. And it might be like a -S. It's like $15 at Walmart, maybe $12 on Amazon. Find a friend that's used one before and borrow it, whatever you have to do. You don't need a $80 or $100 graphing calculator for this course, but you do need a calculator. You want a calculator, you need it. You can always use calculators for this course, whether I like that or not. Class notes will be posted in Canvas in advance. So let's go back to Canvas to show you where those are. You're responsible for reading those as well as the text before class. Remember, one section in advance. In general, assume one section in advance. So if we covered 1.2 on a Monday, read 1.3 on a Wednesday. It's the third time I've said that. Pop quizzes will be based on reading on occasion. So there will be quizzes, maybe once a week, maybe every class. I don't really want to specify an interval. It can be on reading material. It can be on those videos inside of Mymathlab. It can be on just a random question to make sure you attended class. They can be anything. So make sure you're doing that stuff. I will give you at least one of all of those different types throughout the semester. Where are the notes? Okay, so let's go back to Canvas. Canvas. So we had our helpful tips to start, the lecture videos. So this right here, I know I'm sidetracking, but this is where the YouTube links will go, and they'll go sequential. So later today, you'll have a link under this that'll say lecture for, I have to remember the date, May 19th. And I'll give you like a section number or something relevant for it generally. Excel, work, whatever. And I like to move this one to the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, in fact. Notes. And you can see that I have some files already available to you. So I have chapter 1 and 2 notes available to you. And then I already have chapter 3 through 9 loaded, as well as an extra file or two that I will eventually come in and publish. Notes to share, click it. And then you can download it right here, or you can just view it on the screen. And this is not anything too super detailed in general. Sometimes it's just a basic idea of a definition. Sometimes it goes into a little bit more detail. But 1.1, so hey, this stuff starts with 1.1 because it's chapter 1. So when we finish chapter 0 and I say, all right, chapter 0 is done, have a good day, that means you should read 1.1 from the text, as well as these notes. Print them out if you have a printer at home. These are good. They're very bare bones and essential. And again, remember that in Canvas, if you ever forget how to find something, how to submit something, helpful tips to start. That's what I've been using for this. 1 to 2 projects, as we already said, it's one project. One project will be assigned later in the semester. Unlike Excel homework, you will build these from scratch. So we saw earlier that the Excel homeworks have everything in terms of information already there. It's just we have to type in numbers, type in formulas. The project will be built from scratch. So you'll actually start with a blank canvas, and that's a pun, a blank Excel file. The canvas meant like as a portrait, a painting. And I will give you detailed files and instructions. We'll talk about it in class, what the project's going to be. As I already said, I typically do something involving a budget. If I decide to take a hard left turn on that, I might, but I don't know. I really like making students make a budget because it's just another one of those financial literacy things that's important to make people better with their finances. And then this is just my super serious time for a second. This is not a high school class. You do not get a passing grade for nothing. If you skip assignments and come in 3 weeks later, hey, can I get an opportunity? No. If you were sick and you email me and let me know when it happens, or the day after it happens, something like that, then an extension can be granted most of the time. Don't wait to the last minute to complete assignments. Technology can bite us in the butt. You've already seen me struggling with Mymathlab a little just today. It'll probably be fine for a while, and then it'll have hiccups, and then it'll be fine, then it'll have hiccups. But not doing assignments will harm your grade. And no, I will not give extra credit the last day of class just because you asked nicely. Apply yourself, stay on top of the work during the semester, and you should be successful. Last but not least, as I already said in that email, the 2 things you'll hear me say a million times throughout the semester that you should learn to say to yourself as well: pay attention, and when you do something, ask yourself if it makes sense. This right here is half the course. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? You got a problem, and it's talking about apples. You know, how many apples should Bob buy from the store today? And you get an answer, and it's 10,000. Does that make sense? Well, Bob's buying apples for just his house. So no, it doesn't. You probably goofed up the math somewhere. Now, if Bob runs a chain of grocery stores, Bob buying 10,000 apples would make sense. Context can be key. We're not doing math problems in here where, all right, what's the speed of the bicycle, and it comes out to 1,000,000 miles an hour, and that's how the problem was supposed to be. No, we get answers that are sensible in here because in the real world, things tend to be sensible when it comes to math. Pay attention, read the question, read it again, read it again. Show your work, 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 show your work. Show your work. That's me whispering because you can't see my hand go over my mouth. I cannot emphasize how important those 2 things are. And you're going to hear me say it a million times, and you're going to get sick of it, but it's extremely important. Half the time, we rush. And I am a victim of this as well. I can certainly rush, and I can certainly miss things. But when you pay attention and does it make sense together, What happens is when I make a mistake, usually I come back and I go, wait a minute, something about that just doesn't seem right. Maybe I rushed. Let me retrace my step. Oh, yep, I rushed. I made a mistake. All right, here it's fixed. So without both of those things together, I could make mistakes all the time because I can get to really thinking fast and working fast and talking fast. And when I start rushing, that's when I'm paying attention a little less. But I always come back to the, all right, did it make sense? It's okay to make mistakes along the way as long as we correct them in the end. And this doesn't make sense aspect, that can change when we look at a short amount of time versus a long amount of time with certain aspects at the end of the semester. We're talking about money, we're talking about population dynamics. All right. How are we on time? About 10 minutes. Let's see. Anything else that I need to talk about? If anyone has any questions, you can post them in the chat. I think we're pretty good. Student gradebook, I didn't go into, but I mean, that's pretty obvious. It'll have everything you've done. I haven't done any homework in our class yet. I just opened up that one and didn't get anything right. Time spent. Yeah, guess what? I can see that too. I know if you're working or not. I mentioned earlier you get 5 submissions for your Excel assignments. So if you get it wrong the first time, that's okay. If you get it wrong the second time, that's okay. Hopefully you're getting improvement from the first to the second to the third to the fourth to the fifth time. On the first one, I think I'm going to give you more attempts than 5. I think I give you 6 or 7. I can't remember what I have it set up to automatically. But we're still kind of finding ourselves. But again, I will not talk about Excel a lot after the first couple weeks of this class. So we spend the first couple weeks introducing the course and talking about Excel. Then we get into the math. Every now and then I'll bring up an Excel idea. But at that point, it's usually much more independent. So when you're struggling, you go back to videos, you go back to lectures. You can email me a question or two, but like I said, I'm not going to hold your hand with this Excel stuff. I feel like I'm missing something. I really do. We hit everything in here. We hit everything in the syllabus. I have a couple things to edit. You got my email. You got my office number, which I won't be in. I'd love to be in my office. My computer is much better. The power goes out a lot less, but we're not allowed. Fun story, security actually kicked me out of my office last semester. And it was funny because it was the same security guard who let me in, but it was because he got a message from higher up. He did nothing wrong. And it was just funny. Grade policy. 15% Mymathlab homework, Excel homework 15%, quizzes 15%. So all 3 of these are weighted equally, and they're almost half the course. Guided worksheets. This grade will come from those discussion boards. Sorry, I went blank for a second. Discussion boards that are going to be posted in Canvas. I didn't show you where those would be. That's what I was missing. So in Canvas. And you might not see it for this second because this says it's not visible. I have to edit that. So you'll go to discussions, and then you might have a pinned one. You might just have a whole list of discussions. Let me show you what the discussion board looked like for my last semester, which we don't have a lot of them because the first half of the semester we were in the classroom, so we were just doing it in class. Ignore that. So discussions. So hey, I have a discussion on this page from the worksheet, this page from the worksheet. So hey, all right, years 1 through 5 on this page. Compound interest table were completed in class. The first student should complete the info for year 6, the next student year 7, the next year 8, then year 9, year 10. And then I gave other things in which you can answer. I said no credit for repeated answers. And then I had some students, and we like showing your work. We like the details. They did a pretty good job. We have some students coming in saying they agree because I think someone might have said, no, yeah, I hope this is right. So then someone said yes. I will come in and say everything's good. I don't always do this. If I don't come in, that generally means everything's good. And then I might say, all right, you got some more opportunity. Oh, I didn't mean to put that there. I'll still count it, whatever. Again, this is not about right and wrong. It's about, did you do it? Did you do something? Did you do enough of these? And I will give you an idea of how many you need to be doing as the semester progresses. Because I'm not gonna, if I have a discussion board where I can only award 4 points, because I don't want repeated answers, that's not gonna give every student an opportunity, which means the first 4 will get it, and then student 5 goes, oh wait, am I getting a 0? No, you just need to make sure you answer one next time. And I'm not gonna give a bunch in a row where it's just 3 or 4, because then you might have Johnny Be Good coming in and doing them every single time and not giving other students opportunities. And if anything like that did actually happen, I would consider that and give the other students more opportunities. So if you ever say, hey, I haven't had the opportunity to use discussion boards because I kept missing them, then you can say, okay, that's fine. But if I then go back and look and say, all right, well, this discussion board wasn't even finished, you could have answered that. I don't know. I'm not going to give you leniency then. Let's see. If we did one discussion board for every class, outside of testing and everything, that would be like 16 of them. So I'd probably be looking for like 12 times that you said something, just giving you a spitball number. And maybe I have more than one discussion board set up for a class, because we will go through multiple guided worksheets sometimes in a day. Some of them I will discuss. I will give you ideas on how to start things, because they can be much more complicated than the traditional Mymathlab homework. So I might say, okay, well, this is what they're talking about. Here's an example of it. Now you need to replicate it. Okay, so I haven't seen any questions. Let's give you a couple more minutes, well, maybe like one or 2 more minutes, just in case. But like I said, I'll post this to YouTube later. If you missed anything, you can rewatch it. You can rewatch it again and again and again. You're able to rewind, fast forward. You can post comments. If you have a YouTube account, you can post comments. And if I see them, then I'll come back and comment on it. I have no problem doing that as well. I do have a lot of YouTube videos that I post, so if I ever miss your comments, you can shoot me an email. Hey, Mr. Beckner, I had a comment. You can even say the comment in there. You can email me. You can post YouTube comments. You can hit my Canvas. Like I said, I don't always see the inbox. I feel like on one of my browsers, it's supposed to show a number, like if I have any new messages, and I don't feel like it always shows it. I don't know why. There we go. Here's a question. There's a textbook in Barnes & Noble for this class on the Oracle webpage. Did we need that as well? So there is no physical textbook. It does not exist. The book that they're saying on Barnes & Noble is going to be the guided worksheets. That is optional. It's something that me as a student, I would shell out the extra 20 bucks if I had it, because then I have it physically in front of me and I can write on it, which is fantastic. But if you don't have the 20 bucks, you can just download the PDF, and I gave those instructions earlier on how to find that. But again, in terms of a quote textbook, it doesn't exist. It is only digital. And that's because it has those hyperlinks to definitions and charts and all sorts of things. Awesome. All right, so I know I just ranted a lot about this course, but it's a lot to rant about. It took me a little longer with this new format, but like I said, the good thing is at the end of the semester, if we lose a couple of sections of material due to just having to discuss a little bit longer, that's fine. There won't be a problem, because you won't necessarily need it for another quote math class. So on that, have a good day. Please take care. Please enroll in Mymathlab. Again, that's the one last thing I do want to point out, and I want to have it typed on the screen. Enroll in Mymathlab before 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, the 21st. Be deleted from the course. A deletion, I believe you get your full refund back. You were never here. It doesn't even go on your transcript. You don't exist. I need you to understand there's a lot of things going on in this course, a lot of different types of homework, and a decent amount of homework at that, which the traditional rule of thumb is 6 hours a week of study for a 3-hour class in fall and spring, but in summer, we are doing this at a 60% additional pace, which means you're supposed to be doing 9 to 10 hours of homework or studying per week for this class alone. That is your expectation. That is a traditional college expectation that I feel like they don't tell students anymore. For every 1 credit you're in class, it's 2 hours of study. You might say, well, Mr. Beckner, where there's a 3 credit class, that would mean 6. Yes, if it was fall or spring, well, we have 16 weeks. This is 10 weeks, so we have to work 50% faster, basically, which is why it's 9 to 10 hours. So if you come to me and say, Mr. Beckner, I'm having problems, and I see that you've only logged into Mymathlab for 1 hour a week, I'm going to go, well, there's your problem. You're not putting in the effort. This is about you. You are controlling your own destiny. I'm only here to give you a guiding hand and help you along the way. But if you can't put the time and effort in, you won't be successful in this class. You're going to struggle. It's just effort in here. We're not going to do any super crazy wonky math. It's just effort. And I'm not saying it will take you 9 to 10 hours. Some of you are better with math and maybe you can knock everything out in 3 to 4. Maybe some of you, this is your more challenging course and it takes you 11 or 12. But if you're not hitting this, then you're not doing yourself the service of trying. So please try, please try, please try. And I can't force you to try. I'd say I wish I could, but that sounds mean. I would just love for everyone to be a little more focused, a little more dedicated. And whatever you have to do in your life to find that focus and dedication, do. And I know a lot of us are going through really weird scenarios. Kids at home, maybe you're sitting in a parking lot right now on Wi-Fi. I don't know, and I don't know. We're living through weird times, but we got to do the best we can. Otherwise, what's the point? So please put in the effort. Make yourself a schedule to study. Say, hey, every Wednesday and Friday, I'm going to study from 3 to 5 p.m. Don't study 10 hours in a row. Give yourself a 5 to 10 minute break every hour or hour and a half. Otherwise, you're going to overdrive your brain. Don't study everything the last second of before something's due or you're taking your test, because you don't retain information that way. You need to kind of just pepper this out throughout the semester, throughout the week, every day, every other day, something like that. If you cram, you're going to remember it for the test and then it's gone. And if you cram for the midterm, that information's still on the final. So if you're cramming for the midterm and then you forget it a week later, you're going to be out of luck on the final exam, because the final exam is going to be a lot of stuff from the first half of the semester in addition to the last half. The final is cumulative. And by the way, tests will be done in Mymathlab, just like your homeworks. So you will get an immediate test grade back. Because it's digital, I'm not really going to be doing a lot of partial credit. I'll give you plenty of time. I was doing 2 hours for the test last semester. I think that was more than enough time, so I'm probably going to be doing that again. 20 questions, 21 questions. I'm not going to give super long midterms or finals, just enough to make sure that you understand the material. All right, so we'll go ahead and call it there. If you have any questions, please email me. I look forward to seeing you all again on Thursday, those of you who can make it. If not, catch the repeat. And yeah, take it easy.